Welcome to Breaking Fears.
Hello everyone. Today's video is about just a kind of recap for my first video about talking what the channel is about. I know so there are some new people joining and probably didn't go back to my very first video, but they're watching from the video that they started from and going forward. I just wanted to say that welcome for one, and thank you for watching. Tell your friends and family if it's beneficial to you and you're getting something out of it to watch. Again, ask people to, if they're watching, to like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe, please. So just to talk about what the channel is about briefly, it's just about conquering your fears. Doing stuff that you're afraid of, but also listening to your fear about doing something that you know is wrong and not doing it. That's a good fear. A good fear also could be, some fears can also be good, where they prevent you from doing something that's going to harm you. Like, for instance, dating. You know the man or woman is bad, and your fear of knowing what the potentials that's going to happen is tell you don't date that person. That's a good fear. Or investing in a fake stock, and you see that you hold off and you don't do it, and all of a sudden the people that told you about it, or some people that are in it, now they lost a lot of money in that stock because it wasn't a good investment. These are good fears. Bad fears are the ones that are blocking you from doing your potential, getting that potential in life, increasing your experience in life, increasing the wisdom that you could gain out of that conquering that fear. So for instance, I talk to a lot of people about, oh, we want to buy a house. And I have my real estate license, so I show them the house. You know, this is back in the past. I showed them the house, and all of a sudden the fears come over them. Oh, the utilities. Oh, the repairs. Oh, this or that. That's too much. That's too much responsibility. When you're renting, yeah, you might not have to worry about the repairs. Yeah, you might not have to worry about uh, taxes, but you still have to worry about cutting the lawn at some rental properties. You still have to worry about paying the utilities with some rental properties. It's there. The major thing that you're afraid of would just be the mortgage. But again, some mortgages are less than rental, than what you have to pay on in rent. If you just break that fear, you could have a house of your own. You could have land or a home that you could say, this is mine. Or basically you're paying for it, but a landlord can't tell you don't paint a wall, don't put up a shed in the back, no bounties in the backyard, whatever it may be. You own it. So that is what I call is a bad fear, something that's blocking you from a potential for something good, going on vacation. You know, for instance, Africa, and I will show that video of my family going to Africa. I just have to, the people I used for the filming was a shyster, so I didn't get what all the footage that they filmed. So I have to dig through what I took, and I didn't take a lot because I was counting on them to do it. Go through what I took and present something for you guys. But why I brought that up is a lot of people are afraid to go to Africa. Oh, it's horrible there. Oh, low income, blah, 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 blah. All this fake stuff. No, Africa is beautiful. Uh, I would have stayed if I could, but I have things here I have to watch over and all that stuff. But yeah, Africa's beautiful. And I tell people, don't let those fears block you from seeing something beautiful. For a lot of African Americans, that's where that's your heritage is from there. Some of your great grandparents were brought over on a slave ship from Africa to here. Go look at your homeland. It's something when somebody comes from, let's say, Italy to the U.S. and then they ask you, "Hey, where are you from?" You a lot of people just want to say, "Oh, U.S." No, you're not from the U.S. You're from Africa. Go see your land. Don't let people tell you, "Oh, they're living in huts. They're doing this. They're doing that." No, they're living in high-rise buildings. Those fears are blocking you from going to see this. Don't let that fear block you. Don't let that bad fear block you. A coworker of mine, and I want to say thank you, Matthew, for providing this idea to me. He watches Dune. He loves all the Dune series, and he was watching it. And one of the things that uh, he told me to look into was a quote that he found in Dune, and that is, let me read it here. He pulled it up. Once you have explored a fear, it becomes less terrifying. Part of the courage comes from extending our knowledge. And the person who said that in the films was Duke Leto Artrides. I think that's how you pronounce the character's name. But it's in the Dune series, so go look at the Dunes. And he mentioned that to me to talk about that or mention that on a video. So this is one of his comments to me was to do this. And I have watched Dune, and it does talk a lot about your fears, conquering those fears, what those fears about. Also, again, me being African American, February is coming up, so I'm going to be talking about Black history. A lot of documentary films, true documentary films about slavery, that's a lot of fear, but it shows a lot of people, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they see good fear as well as they see the bad fear. They saw the good fear to fight for freedom, fight for rights for African Americans. They did things even though they had the bad fears, marching, getting sprayed with water hoses, all that stuff. They did those uh, bad fears knowing that that was going to happen. But they also, on the flip side of it, it was a good fear because they knew that if they pushed and they did it, just like it's like that quote says, once you have once you have explored a fear, it becomes less terrifying. Part of courage comes from extending our knowledge. They pushed, and this is true history. They pushed to get freedom, to get voting rights, all these things. Even though they knew bad things were going to come, they knew out of the good fear that good things will come in the long run. I mean, Gandhi, look what he did. I mean, I could just go down a list of all the people in real life that did both. They broke the fears, even though they knew that it might be a bad fear and they knew the bad outcome that was going to happen once they did it. But they were looking at the long run of the good fear. They broke it, and now you see what happened in life, in history. Inventions. Another thing, like an invention. If you're a person that loves to invent things, don't be afraid to, I mean, that's a good fear. Break it. Go do it. Invent something. I mean, explore that fear. Explore that fear and inventing something, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, look at all the millionaires today. They didn't do stuff by planning. Half of them were exploring a fear. And out of that fear came something great. Out of that good fear came something great. But they also did not, some of them didn't, I have to say, some of them did do a bad fear. But in order to get to that bad fear, to get to a good, to break that good fear, they had to do the bad fear sometimes. I think everybody does that. But you tend to start doing less of that, of the bad, and doing more of the good fear, conquering the fears. So yeah, so that's what this channel's about. Just talking about these things. I mean, in today's society, I see a lot of people either leaving their jobs because they realize, oh, these hours are putting in. It's, the fear that they have to put in more than 8 hours a day to keep their job. They realize, especially back in 2020, you don't have to put in all those hours. Society dictates that. Once you start doing something, people expect you to continue to do that. Now the precedence has been set. And people got tired of it. So a lot of people quit. A lot of people are looking for more time to spend with their family and stuff. They're doing that good fear. They did the bad fear by not working 12 hours a day back down to 8 hours. And they see the long run out of the good fear. Now they have more time to spend with their family, go on vacations, all that stuff. For the people that stayed, for the people that quit or retired, they're enjoying that they're enjoying their time. I mean, all these fears, some people even downsize. Some people are becoming minimalists. They were afraid because everybody wants to keep up with the Joneses. That's the fear. Oh, if you don't keep up with the Joneses, you're not cool. You're not this. Don't let people dictate your happiness. Don't let people tell you how to be happy. You have to make that decision. You have to break those fears. You have to come around and say, hey, I'm not going to let society tell me what to do. I'm not going to let that Bob that lives next door to me make me, buy a Yukon truck because everybody in my neighborhood has a Yukon truck. I'm going to keep with my Ford Focus because it gets me around. That's all I need. Be that person. Be the person that makes you happy, that makes you comfortable. Break that fear. I'm going to show in one of my other videos, I think, or maybe even this one. Yeah, let me look up some. I'll look up some people who, as a matter of fact, minimalize, and they're living out of their van. And I'll show you some of their channels that I watch. They're interesting because they're out there traveling, living out of their van by choice. They're living out of their van, and they're enjoying life. They're really enjoying life. Now, it's not for everybody because I know everybody jumped in that bandwagon. Even I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's incredible. That's incredible. But I realized, oh, you know what? I would have made a mistake because it's not me. I was just following, like I said, I'm following the Joneses, keeping up with the Joneses. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. All because everybody's doing it doesn't mean it's for you. So as I was watching it, even the people that were living in their RVs, I'm like, oh, yeah, that'd be great. And you could travel and you don't have to worry about that. I started thinking, I've always wanted land. I've always wanted a home base. So that's not for me. And to do something because everybody's doing it, you're not going to be happy. So, but yeah, I'll show you some people that I watch on YouTube that live out of their van, as well as I'll show you some people that not only moved from the United States to Africa, they battled that fear, but also some people that moved pretty much in a desert. They wanted more land, more freedom. They wanted to live off grid. And they moved to like the Arizona deserts, California deserts, Nevada. They moved out to all these areas, and they just bought some desert land, and they don't have a water bill, they don't have a gas bill, they don't have a electric bill. Now, of course, with the gas, they have to go and buy propane. So yeah, I still say they have a gas bill. I'll put this. So let me retract what I said about the gas bill. But as for water, a lot of them are capturing it from rain, or they dig a well, and now they don't have to pay for water. Electricity, solar panels. They just put up a solar farm, and now they don't have to worry about electricity. And as a matter of fact, one guy, he doesn't even use gas because he uses electric heating. He put together I can't remember who it was. If I could find him, I'll show one day. But he put together an awesome solar power grid that produced enough energy to pretty much run his heater, keep his hot water going. He has a lot of solar panels and a big battery bank. But yeah, now of course, again, living in the desert, you've got the continuous rays for a long time from the sun. Actually, not from the sun, but just the rays during the day that keeps the power going and to juice up your batteries. But yeah, you just gotta don't sit back and live in a box. A lot of people will let their fears keep them in a 4x4 box, and they would never open that lid. I knew people that lived in a certain town, and because they were afraid to travel outside of their town, when I was talking to them about a restaurant one time, it was in a town next to their town, literally like 5 minutes out of their town into the next town. They didn't even know that town was next to them. They didn't know any of the surrounding, or I'm sorry, not town cities. They didn't know the surrounding cities around theirs because they were just afraid to travel. They were afraid to leave their neighborhood. It was like a 5-block radius, a 10-block radius, or a 20-block radius. That's as far as they would travel. As a matter of fact, they didn't know even some of the towns within their city. That was a sad thing. You get to even make it worse. They didn't know certain towns in their own city, in their own state. They didn't know cities in their state. They didn't know towns within their city. They just knew their town and a few towns around them, or within that 20-mile, 10-mile, whatever it is, radius. Because that's all they would. It was almost like they had this wall, and outside of that wall there were these zombies and killer insects and whatever they be that they were afraid that was going to come through that barrier and get them. That was the fear. And when I would mention to them about restaurants and stuff, they didn't know. And I was actually surprised and felt a little bad for them because of that fear. I mean, I've known people that were afraid to drive, so they would walk everywhere. And when you would ask them to go somewhere, it's like they wouldn't go. I mean, I know people that won't even get on a plane because of a fear. They won't even jump on a plane to go visit someone. If it's not by car or train, they will not go. I know people that won't even go on a boat. It's something because of that fear. I know people that can't read and they're afraid to. They think they're too old to learn how to read, so they don't want to go any place where they have to read. They don't want to do anything if they have to read. If there's a film out, an international film that's in a foreign language, they won't go see the film because they have to read the subtitles. And you could tell that they want to go see it, but they don't want to. They don't want to read because they don't want to go because they're afraid that somebody's going to know that they can't read. And the people that they're with already know that. So it's just it's something. It's something that what fear can do to a person. It's something devastating. I didn't think I would talk this long about this, but yeah, you just got to break your fear. Break your fear. And like I said, thank you, Matthew, for the idea about the quote in the Dune series. So if any of you are interested in watching the Dune, it's like a sci-fi film, but it is about leading people and social norms. There's a lot of films out there like that, but it's like I said, if somebody gives me a comment, if somebody gives me an idea and they want me to talk about it, I'm going to do it. And this is one of my first comments. I got a couple more coming down the pipeline, but I just haven't had a chance to sit down and start doing them. So this is my first one. This is the first comment, and I'm fulfilling what I stated. I try to do that once I say something. So again, just for those that want to hear the quote again, once you have explored a fear, it becomes less terrifying, and that is very true. Because once you do the fear, once you get through the fear, once you conquer that fear the first time, the next time it's easier. The next time it's easier than that. Sooner or later, you forgot that you even had a fear. There's some fears, like I have conquered them, but I'm still afraid. And the biggest fear I have, and a lot of people have, let me finish the quote. So it says, once you have explored a fear, it becomes less terrifying. Part of courage comes from extending our knowledge. So to get the courage, you got to conquer that fear. And I'm not going to say knowledge, I want to say wisdom. Because once you complete that fear, once you conquer that fear, you gain some wisdom and knowledge on how to continue to conquer that fear, as well as other fears. Because once you start conquering fears, or once you start conquering one fear, especially your biggest fear, other ones, you're like, I was afraid of that. So getting back to what I was saying, one of my fears, my biggest fear is heights. Yes, I have done heights. I will fly on a plane. For some odd reason, that's not a big fear to me, but I will go on a plane. My fear that really terrifies me is going into high-rise buildings. Yes, I have gone into some. I'm originally from Illinois. Wasn't that far from Chicago. My friends kept saying, let's go to the Sears Tower. I have never, ever been to the top of the Sears Tower because of my fear. Would I do it? I'm going to say no. You may ask why. That's a good question because what's to go up that high just to look down? Is it a spectacular view? Yeah, I bet it is. But I don't want to go up a high rise just to look at a bunch of buildings below me. I went to the Grand Canyon. Yes, I went to the Grand Canyon. and I looked down the Grand Canyon. That was a spectacular view. Was it as high as the Sears Tower? I don't know. I would have to do the math. But then again, I had to figure out, was that the highest part of the Grand Canyon? I don't know. But it was deep. It's deep. Niagara Falls. I went to Niagara Falls. Yes. I looked down from there. But it was a spectacular view. These are fears I conquered. Uh, what else? The dam. I can't think of the dam. In Nevada powers the everything, but you know which one I'm the Hoover. I think it's the Hoover Dam. Is it the Hoover Dam? But anyway, I went there, looked down, spectacular view. So yes, I've done things to conquer fear and to see these magnificent views. I even and again, I'm not a big roller coaster guy or anything like that, but I have ridden roller coasters. Why? Because I wanted to push that. I really wanted to push that fear of heights. And I knew that would do it. Because one, it does put you in the fear of falling. And I figured if I experienced that fear, then maybe heights wouldn't be as fearful as I have it. But it didn't work because I'm still afraid of heights. I'm going to leave it at that. I will probably continue and tell you about the story about a roller coaster I had in another video. But again, I don't want to talk too long. I know sitting in front of a video for as long as I've been talking right now, it tends to get boring. But I just wanted to put this out here about fears. I hope what I've talked about touched some people. I hope in a good way where they will push their fears and go do things. Again, like, subscribe, and comment. Give me some comments. As you can see, I am following up on these comments and putting out this content. As for the videos, I'm not going to put the videos on today. Maybe I'll do it on another follow up from my first introduction of my channel. But as now, I'm going to end it. I want to say thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and comment. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And with that, see ya.